Warning, the following podcast is intended for immature dads only. Listener discretion is advised. This is Dad's Game Review, the most casual hardcore gamers around. Reviews and news from every platform. We waste our time so you don't have to.
What's up, kids? Welcome to another episode of Dad's Game Review. My name's Paul Squalacci. I'm joined as always by Josh Gosh.
You're going to do it again. Will you ever get my name right? Ever?
Gosh.
Ever?
Gosh.
Is it ever going to happen in 2 years of doing this? Jesus Christ.
A guy that normally turns into a jerk when you don't like the game he likes.
That's it. Yep.
That's how
I've just been struggling lately just because I had to come off all these psych meds and stuff that I've been on for like 10 years, and now I feel like everything's rubbing like my last nerve.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Like I've just been struggling with anxiety. It's been a bummer. Well, I had to come off them because I had a physical addiction to a mood stabilizer and an anti-anxiety sleep med. And
Which one?
It wasn't like an addiction like I was popping pills. It was like I couldn't come off them because my hands and legs would go numb if I tried to. And I didn't have any help titrating down. I tried to come off them a couple times. And yeah, so I spent the last 2.5 months coming down off this mood stabilizer and this anti-anxiety. And now I feel like I'm just like on edge at all times. So
you know what's funny? I mean, not funny like haha, but funny like whatever. Anyway, weird. My dad used to get these cramps like in his leg, like his arm and his leg. He used to get like these massive cramps, right? And they were like muscle cramps. And then come to find out like later when I got my heart checked out, the doctor was like, oh yeah, we found that that's like a direct link to like heart failure. Like it was just...
That's weird.
I was like, well, I guess that's why you died at 49.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, I'm just dealing. I just couldn't get off these. I wanted to change some meds because my body had become too used to these and my nervous system couldn't function without them. So that's why I was getting peripheral neuropathy with numbs going nerves going numb.
Well, you would know better than anybody what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. So what is going on with you the last couple of weeks?
Oh, I've just been so like burnt out. Like I just was burnt out at work. I just was like, I working in a locked mental health facility, you carry a lot. You carry a lot of emotions. You carry a lot of like, everybody wants to talk to you about their problems, and that's your job, and that's fine. But I just like Tuesday or Wednesday, I just burnt out. I just called out sick for 2 days. I was like, I need to just sit here and do nothing. Like
when you got too many people and too many things making demands on you, that's the burnout I was feeling and stuff too. It's like I have to give all day to my patients and then take care of my wife and like do this for the dogs and like do this for people, and like it just felt like there's no like self time, and I have to have like my nighttime like couple hours of games to like recharge or whatever, and it just
and every day I'm like, oh yeah, well, because I'm not meditating, which I'm not, and I sit there and I go, okay, well tomorrow I'm going to meditate, but I never do. I'm just pissed at myself.
Everything starts tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's just always depression. It's just one big procrastination.
So that's the fun way we're starting off the show, guys. I'm anxious as fuck, and he's depressed, and we're gonna play video games. Okay. So here's what happened with this show. We're in between like big games right now. Like the next thing we're doing is Resident Evil Requiem, which is gonna be awesome. And we did Reanimal, which we were big hyped for. So we couldn't pick something for this next thing. So he came up with the idea to play these ridiculous point and clicks on Steam, and I tried them, and they were miserable. And so I was like,
ridiculous,
hold on, we'll get into your stupid games just a second. And so then I got this like Bendy collection of trilogy of games for like $5 on PSN, and I was like, well, should we try these? Maybe check out a trilogy that has like a fandom or something. And so neither of us ended up playing each other's games whatsoever, basically, hardly. I think you played a little bit of Bendy, didn't you?
I played the first one a while ago. And it just didn't pique my interest.
So yeah, so we
So I did
actually
what Josh always does when he says buy it now, and I buy it.
it was $5 for 3 games that run
I
about
tried it
$75
again.
physically. So that's why it's the entire collection, and plus one of them just released at the end of October last year. So it's not like these are
Right, the
ancient games.
dungeon crawler one.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So I tried these. He's going to talk about his point and click games, and plus we've been playing other stuff too. He was playing Shady Part of Me, which is a little indie that's cool. I did Onimusha PS4 remaster the last week or so, and I've been playing a bunch of other stuff. So we're just going to talk about games, just whatever we've
Games.
been playing.
Right. Well, I started Bendy, and Bendy reminded me too much of the first one, and I was like, blah. Like it just like it's like they studied BioShock and then they copied it, but they didn't. They just changed the words. Like it just,
But what
it
did you
just.
actually accomplish? You didn't accomplish anything.
No, I got
What
up
do
to
you remember
chapter
about what do you
2.
remember about the first one? The first one was only 4 hours, so how much did you
Yeah, the
actually
first
play of it?
one, all I remember was playing it because it was like, so the first one came out before Cuphead. So to see that kind of 1930s kind of style drawing was new at the
That's what
time.
the initial appeal was because it had that cool like 30s cartoon thing going on.
Right. It
Yeah.
had like it had like this very cartoony Dr. Seussy, like everything was hand drawn. So it was beautiful, like, but
The
that's
way it
how
was
the
released
franchise.
too, it was released episodically also. That's the thing. This wasn't released as just a whole game. Both these first two games, Dark Revival and Bendy and the Ink Machine, they both came out episodically. And so after the first episode was released, people were like, "This is awesome," because they saw this cool like 30s like
Yeah.
cartoon style, and it's dark, like it's kind of deals with like cult like stuff and demons and
Right.
angels, and so after the first 5 episodes of Bendy and the Ink Machine, like it developed this fandom and all these people like totally into it just because of its style.
Right. I
But
mean, the I, the franchise can't survive off of aesthetics alone. Like it has to have something more to it than just like, oh, this looks like a Dr. Seuss painting. Like
yeah, no, I agree, and I agree. So
uh,
here's what he
like
and
if
I
the
noticed
game
too.
if the game looked normal, like no rubber hose cartoons or no dripping ink, I think it would be buried under 200 other indie horror titles that are out there. But this
Yeah,
is my opinion. I hate, well, it. I hate talking down on something when I have no clue what it takes to develop a game. Um,
but you also didn't get into any of the story. And so what the cool thing about it is the gameplay, I agree, it's kind of weak. The gameplay, honestly,
yeah.
because it's a lot of collecting and a lot of finding things that are hidden around the studio. So well, I'll set up the premise. For the first one, you're playing as one of the animators of this cartoon Bendy that has been established and has, you walk around the studio that you're in, you see cool old-timey posters of like, Bendy in the carnival, like advertising
Right.
cartoons that had
Yeah,
come
yeah,
out. And
yeah.
it's cool. It's got a cool aesthetic feel. But the first thing you do in both games, and this is why the second one, I even said, I was like, wait a minute, this is starting exactly like the first. You
Yeah.
have to do the ritual. So both
Right.
games start out with you finding 6 pieces around the studio or around the area to do the ritual to go into the world of the ink and then the bendy world and all that kind of stuff.
And the
So
world itself tries to be deep, but it's just basically you stuck in a hot topic or something and just
no,
doused in sepia
it's
tone.
the first one's completely set in the Bendy Studios, and you're exploring the Bendy Studios, and it gets you start to learn about some of the other animators and the voice actors and stuff like that, and that's where
Right.
other characters come into play. There's Boris Wolf, there's Alice Angel. Alice Angel is kind of this like schizophrenic, psychotic character.
Yeah.
It's a voice actress that was wronged, and now she's taken on the character, and like she's totally nuts. And so there's that. There's Boris Wolf, who I call creepy Goofy. He just kind of hangs around the background, stares at you, and doesn't say anything. He looks exactly like Goofy.
He's goofy. Yeah, pretty
He
much.
is
He's
Goofy.
goofy.
And then there's Joey Drew, who is the owner of the studio, and he's like the evil overlord that created the whole Bendy universe,
Right.
who hires and fires all the animators and voice actors and stuff, and is running this entire show. And so that's kind of the premise of the first one. Is just you're kind of running around the studio, you encounter some characters. It kind of gets bigger into this like demon and cult thing, and
Yeah.
then you face the ink demon and it's kind of over. And so first one, 4 hours, you get an introduction into the universe. It's fine. But
Right.
did you accomplish anything else on the second one?
No, because I got bored. Yeah,
Because you didn't get anywhere.
No, because Bendy is the only franchise where the ink is more fluid than the gameplay. It just kind of it just doesn't. It didn't appeal to me. Like I just was tired of looking for the thing that lit up, like after a while. And it was like, okay. And then I got into like the second level or the chapter 2 where I'm trying to hide from this big ink thing walking around. And the only option is for you to hide. There's no way for you to hit him or fight, defend yourself. So like this part of the game is you hiding in lockers and just hiding from this ink thing. And then when you die, because you're like, okay, well, he got me and I'm in a corner, they spawn you right back in front of him. I don't know if this is a game glitch, but
Okay.
that's after that. I was like, all right, I'm done. I just got frustrated. With the spawning thing.
Okay, so the Ink Demon is a pervasive thing through the whole series. He pops up, he shows up, you have to run and hide. That's part of the
Yeah.
terror, and that's actually the jump scares and stuff. As you go through the game, you do not want that screen to start turning dark because you freak the F out. And there's so many times when I'm recording for YouTube, I'm like, oh shit! And like, you have like 3.5 seconds to turn around and find either a little crate to hide in, a locker to hide in, or something else. So it may have been stupid when you were doing it, but you actually end up getting a weapon later. You can't fight him. You fight other things. The fighting is absolutely horrible. I will say that. The fighting is crap. You end up getting a pipe that you can charge with electricity and it will take out things. But that's what comes with the fun of the game, is that it's random when the Ink Demon appears. You can be exploring and doing your own little thing, and he will just all of a sudden pop up. So you never know when it's going to happen. And that's what creates kind of the horror aspect of the game. But what they did with the second one, this is a good example of really taking something that started out just small and like running with it. Because they blew up the world and the lore behind the characters, the scenery and the settings are all like much deeper and darker and cooler. You're playing as Audrey this time, who happens to be the daughter of Joey Drew, who's half human, half demon. She's gaining powers from the ink that's been poured on her and getting abilities to banish demons and stuff like that. So you didn't go anywhere and accomplish anything to see where this game goes.
No, I got
that's
distracted.
what frustrates me.
Yeah, no, I got.
So anyway, but I will agree with you. I totally will agree with you. The finding things does get a little tiring.
Yeah.
The fighting sucks. It really is just trading blows and seeing who dies first. There's no skill to it whatsoever. But the coolest part about this, if you want to get into the series, is the art style, the lore of the characters and the kind of the interactions of that, and the actual like cult story with all the cool weird stuff. It's an enjoyable series. As for the third one, not so much.
Hated it.
1 and 2, yeah. And real quick on the third one, just a quick summary because I didn't play a lot of it. It's completely different. It's not an indie first-person puzzler like the other one.
It was very confusing to me.
It is so boring, and bland. People seem to like it, but all it's a rogue. So you're dropped into a dungeon. It's a dungeon crawler. You're trying to go find the 6 ritual items in every single level. And that's all you do. You go down level after level trying to find the 6 ritual items while keeping away from the Ink Demon and leveling up your base by finding things. I started getting to points where I was almost leveling up my base, but I didn't care enough. I got so tired of running levels and finding 6 things and dying or making it out. That's all it really came down to.
So what was the energy thing on the side then that just ran out just from you existing?
That was your stamina, just running around. You had to constantly monitor your stamina. You had to constantly monitor where you could hide, and it was a one hit. So you get to a point where you found 5 of the items. The Ink Demon grabs you. You got to start completely over and do the level.
Yeah, again, and you found coffee machines that you would just
little things, boosters and stuff like that. And you had a weapon. You can get a plunger or a frying pan and smack things. But the third one is totally passable. But I liked the first 2, so that's my opinion on the Bendy series, and it's only $5 right now for all 3 games on PSN. So that was the whole point of playing it.
No, I mean it was a good attempt, and I'm not a fan of dungeon crawlers. I mean, I'm just not a fan of like the whole top-down thing. It frustrates me.
I think we could probably make a very short list of the things you are a fan of. What are the 2 things? 2, maybe 3.
No.
That's the other problem I have with trying to pick games to play with this dude. Is when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what would he even like? What the hell does he like? What does he play? What am I supposed to like bring to the table here? He doesn't like anything I suggest.
I play story games.
So he's going to talk about what the fuck he likes. Go ahead, talk about your point and click series.
Okay, so wait a second. Rusty Lake. Anybody who here is a fan of Rusty Lake, the indie studio, they have a very storied history. They create these indie games that came out in the 09, 10, and then a little bit further down. If you never heard of these games before, they're more like a surreal point-and-click puzzle game that was big. I guess, was it big in the 09s? I found this game on my phone by mistake.
It
by
reminded me of
accident.
something I'd play on joecartoon.com, but not funny. Do you
It's
remember those point
very
and clicks? They were like Flash. They were Flash based or whatever. It felt like a
yeah,
Flash based
yeah,
point
yeah,
and click.
because it depended on what you collected. Yeah, what you selected, and then it would move to the different flash part. Um, so they're known for combining like escape room style puzzles and really dark, mysterious story. So one of them, there's two main branches to Rusty Lake. There's the Cube Escape games, which I showed you, right? I showed
I
you all
played
the
the
cube
hotel one,
ones.
whatever the hotel
Okay.
one, and then I
And
played
then
one
there's
of their.
the second half of the Rusty Lake games, which is like hotel and roots, and this is where you get to know this family. Now I don't know if this is a real family that comes from Rusty Lake indie developers, or if this is a made up family, but they're pretty fucked up. The Vanderbooms is a each game explores a different piece of the overall mystery of this family. Like there's one game where it's like I think it's called Rusty Lake Roots, where one of them, I mean, yeah, it's all point and click, but one of them you have to figure out how to collect semen from one of the descendants. You know, like it's just very dark
I
and
will say
very
it was very weird. Kind of some of the things I clicked on, the things that ended up happening were weird. Like I was supposed to make some concoction to give to a deer or something, and
yeah,
in the hotel. But the thing
right.
is, it's like I grew a plant out of some antlers, and then like I dripped blood on him, and I collected the blood and turned it in. I put it into a potion, which mixed into, and I was just like, what is this? None of this. I don't understand what's happening here. But and then you don't know what to click on, so I'm like clicking everything on the screen, hoping something happens, and I'm like, this is not fun for me. There's nothing to interact with. Nothing's moving. It's all static.
It's all static. Yeah, I didn't really put that together until he said it. He was like, "Yeah, this is very static, like a flash game," and I was like, "Yeah, it is." I never really thought of it like that one, but it's you know, it has a cult following because of the story
Yeah, the writing was a
of
little
the
amusing. I will say
Vanderbilts.
the writing was kind of amusing. It made me chuckle a few times, like
Yeah.
just the
So,
interaction. But
um, like, there's so much mystery around this game, like, because nobody knows the complete story of this family called the Vanderbooms and how they started, and then they're coming out like as if there's these games. What is it called? It's called. What'd you play? You played Hotel,
yeah, and there
right?
was one other I grabbed, but I only played it for like 20 minutes, and I was like, it's the exact same thing as the other
Yeah.
one.
So it's
Like
Hotel,
Jesus.
Roots, Rusty Lake Hotel, Rusty Lake Roots, Rusty Lake Paradise, and then The Past Within, um, which are all like about the family. And they just announced that in April or May, they're coming out with one called Rusty Lake Servants, as if to like add to the story of the Vanderbooms. And that's what, like the original host of Dad's Game Review, I sent it to him. I said, "Hey, Rusty Lake is out again," because it was so odd. Like we played it, and that's where it was like, I think it was featured in like Kotaku, like an article about
Mhm.
being the weirdest game ever that you would play, you know. And I just went down a rabbit hole, and I just played all of their Cube Escape games, which are pretty decent, and then the story itself, which always captivated me. I don't know.
It did
It's
have some
it's
potential because, like I said, the writing was kind of I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but it was weird. It was a little off, and so I found that kind of interesting. I was kind of laughing at some of the dialogue and stuff that was written and the weird things. What weird stuff was happening with what I interacted with, so
right.
I could see where it had its charm. But there is nothing for my ADHD brain to engage with
Yeah.
when I'm reading
It
text and clicking on static images. That
it
does
is slow.
nothing for me.
Yeah, it
Nothing.
is. It is very slow. So if you have that kind of patience, you can play it on your phone too, on your iPhone at least. I know that definitely because that's where I found it originally, and then I started playing it on Steam on my Mac.
Yeah, they were all
Um,
$1.99. I think I paid, and they're even on sale. Like one of them's like they're like a couple are like 89 cents right now or something like that. It's really incredibly cheap.
yeah, they even do one on mental health, and I don't know if it's connected to this overall story, but it's called The White Door, and it's you trying to escape this mental health facility.
I think that's the one
Um,
I downloaded. I was gonna try just because I was curious about the premise on it and stuff, but
Yeah, it was
I
very
didn't.
interesting. Every day you take your meds. Every day you did something different, and over time you figured out different parts of the room and how to escape with the puzzles,
And I play
which was very
text-based
cool.
story driven games. I like them, but there is nothing going on to interact with
Yeah,
other than click with a
yeah,
mouse. Click
it's
with a
very
mouse.
slow. So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna pull punches. I mean, if you could play an episode of Twin Peaks, then or even know what that show is, then
Did I tell you I watched that recently finally for the first
Did you
time?
really?
Yes, like middle of last year. I was like, I'm trying to watch all these things that I never saw back in the day. I've always heard about, like
The
horror and
90s.
stuff. Dude, that show was a trip. It was still
Yeah.
hella good. It was
It
so
was. It was
freaking
pretty-
weird. Now I see I've seen so many memes and references to it over the years. 'Cause
Right.
I've always heard about it. Now I get where they came from. There was some funny stuff in there. I was like, that's the meme. That's the reference. Like,
That's where I got it from. Oh,
that was if you guys haven't seen Twin Peaks, still worth watching, even though it was from like 1991 or something like that. It was
yeah, it was the
forever
90s
ago.
when that was out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So yeah,
forgot.
that's your point
Yeah.
and click. That's just
So that's
what
my
we
Rusty
play.
Lake. If you guys ever interested in Rusty Lake, you want to talk about it, just hit me up on Dad's Game Review. I'll tell you everything you need to know about Rusty Lake. I'll bring you up to date. I personally am going to miss out on a couple of things because it's so confusing and the story is so confusing, but it's so intriguing. So,
But you said there's a new one coming, right? That's why you were.
So there's a new one coming out. Yeah, that you might want to. You might want to play all the older ones like Roots and Paradise. Like there's all these different things. That there's all these other different games that you'll play that'll just kind of like add to the mystery of the family, you know. So this one that's coming out, Rusty Lake Servants. Just when you think the family isn't weird enough, you get to hear the servants.
Oh, so that's more of that block of family-related ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right. Well, like I said, it had a little bit of charm to it. That's the word I was looking for. It did have some charm, and it was a little weird, but I didn't have the attention span for it. So
Right.
check it out.
No, yeah, definitely, yeah. But again, like, can we blame? How many times can we blame it on time? Do you know what I mean? How many times can we go, well, that was the time?
Oh, about
know?
a lot of things that was, stuff that was entertaining back then is going to be completely boring now because it's
Right.
just.
I mean, you brought up Machinarium, which I think is an amazing game, but it's also point and click. But
it has moving parts and stuff. It's
Oh,
interactive
yeah,
little
yeah.
characters.
It
It's
has
actual like
moving.
level-based puzzle. I just picked it up for
Yeah.
He mentioned it because I grabbed it for $1.99 the other day. I was like, I never
It's a
played it,
great
but I always
game.
heard about it.
it's won awards for its art direction.
I
and
see, yeah,
rightly
tons of
so.
awards on it.
And
So I was
its
like,
best,
yeah.
I think it was the best musical soundtrack one year, 2009. But it was amazing. I loved that game. I've played it like 3 times, that game.
Nice.
But that's also another point and click.
We did play some other stuff. They've talked about there's a new Onimusha. Do you know Onimusha the series? I've mentioned it to you a couple
Not
times.
at all.
You haven't
That's
said
why
anything.
I said to you, I was like, do you think I can survive this? But then when I looked it up, I was like, oh wait, this is PS2.
Yeah, so
Originally?
that's what's crazy. I don't play older games, retro games normally. That's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit because
Yeah.
there's a new one coming. The Onimusha series was totally 2000s Capcom style, Resident Evil kind of based, Dino Crisis kind of like it's the same similar type of gameplay style except with samurais and demons.
Right.
And I remember I played the first 2 back in the day on PS2 and I loved them. And I heard there's a new one that they're working on that's going to be modern and plus they remastered the first 2.
Yeah, I saw
and
that too. Because
the second one's available too, and so I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. Let's see, because I also was trying another 2000s Capcom. I was trying Devil May Cry to see if that held up, and that was still fun too. So I was like, all right, we're gonna do Onimusha, and it was still fantastic. I had so much fun. It really is. It's just Resident Evil with samurais and demons, and the story's cheesy, the characters are cheesy, the fighting is basic but fun. Like, and I blew through it in under 5 hours, and it was a blast to play. I'd like to get the second one, but it's $30 right now for the remastered second one. I'm gonna wait until that goes on sale. But now I'm really pumped for the new one that they're working on because a modern one of this is gonna be fun, a lot of fun.
And that's the funny thing is that can they just keep like I'm always skeptical of PS2 games because I was all hyped back when I lived in New York and I was talking to a neighbor friend of mine who also played video games. And I was talking to him and he was like, oh man, he goes, what did he tell me one day? He's like, they remade or they ported Twisted Metal onto the PS4. And we just like had this whole night plan, me and him. Like we were like, oh, remember Twisted Metal on PS2?
The old ones. You're talking about the old ones. Oh,
this
gotcha.
is PS2, but it was ported to the PS4.
Yeah.
And I paid I think I paid like $30 for the port, and everything like that. And we ordered pizza, and we had the worst time.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
not as fun anymore. It's fun.
it was
Like
just
I keep saying, it's fun for like
what
20
is
minutes.
this garbage?
Yeah.
We just
But
were so disappointed that
well,
we ended up buying fucking NHL.
the thing that made 2000s Capcom suck was the tank controls and stuff, and the PS1 tank controls and stuff that used to be in the old Resident Evils.
Right.
What they did with the remasters on Onimusha, though, they fixed that, so it's you're running in the direction you point, so it's not as annoying with tank controls like it used to be.
Yeah.
So at least they fixed that part of it. But that was one of them I played, and I also,
I wish they would come out with a new Jet Li game.
I see that Jet Li Stranglehold game constantly advertised on sale for $4.99 on GOG, and I'm like, why do they always advertise this damn
Really?
game?
Oh,
It's
wow.
constantly advertised for $5 on GOG, and I'm like, what? Is that their biggest seller or something?
That was the first time I saw that game. It was Jet Li, but I remember I was in a stealth part of the game, and I remember this was the first time I was in a video game where like it was talking about the video game. And I was like in a stealth mode with these security guards. And there's these two guys that are just walking, and they go, "Yeah, my kid wants this new Jet Li game." You know, like, and he
Fourth
goes,
wall stuff, yeah.
and he's like, "I don't even know what it's about." And then like I sneak up, I'm like,
That's funny. I've always wondered about it just because I see it.
it.
Just 25 years later, it's still being advertised a lot, and I'm always wondering why they show that one off for $5.
And I just remember that, and I was just like, "Oh, that's cute."
So they showed at the state of play on PlayStation a month ago or so that
Right.
Neva, I always rave about Gris and Neva. We did Neva as a review. You guys did
Neva.
Gris as a review.
Neva.
Yes, the voice, the Neva voice. I was so
Neva.
happy to hear it again. The DLC came out. It's only $2.99. It took about an
Right.
hour, maybe an hour 10 minutes. Not a whole lot to it, but it
Hour 10 minutes on Starlink.
no, I don't mean download. I mean to play the
Oh.
entire thing. It's $2.99 for about an hour of gameplay.
That's it.
But it introduces the whole thing about Neva. What made it fun is that it's a lot of platforming challenges.
Yeah.
And so the DLC introduces 2 new styles of platforming challenges and new creatures that kind of cause problems for you trying to get from here to there. And then it shows you, it's a prequel, so it shows you the introduction to the baby dog. And you save the baby dog, and you're trying to, there's not a whole lot of interactions with the dog. You're just trying to save him and get to the point and flee this giant kind of blob looking, kind of look like No Face from Spirited Away, this giant crawling monster with arms and stuff. And that's really all the DLC is. There's not a whole lot to it, but for $3,
Right.
I mean, it was fun. And the new platforming was a little challenging. I was getting a little frustrated, but once again, I was happy to be back in the world of Neva because it's gorgeous. I love hearing her say Neva and have the dog be like bark, 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 bark. I'm so dumb. I know. I just love dogs.
That game always, the voiceover in that game always cracked me up because it was like the different stages of Neva, I called it.
She just says Neva 12 different ways, and like I just always love hearing it.
And if Neva wasn't listening, it was Neva. Like it was always like Neva. Like
So
it was just
what it made me do as soon as I finished the DLC, I started the game over. I'm just gonna try and see if I can get a platinum on it, and just I want to play it again.
See if there's a 13th voice Neva.
And speaking of platinums, I accidentally platinumed something last night. We were talking about. Here, I got it right here. I'll show it on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's this game Hoa. The two light's too bright. There we go, Hoa.
HOA.
And just HOA. I got this years ago. I tried it on Switch, and it's just this cute little like mini Metroidvania set in a forest land and ocean and factory, and like it's just the most basic kind of little platformer, but the music is gorgeous. Like I put the soundtrack on Spotify afterwards because it was just nice to listen to. Like it was such a chill experience. It took 2 hours to beat. Try Hoa if you want a cute little mini Metroidvania forest platformer with creatures. It was fun. What did you play?
I would play a game called HOA, but only if it ended in me actually executing board members of the HOA.
Homeowners Association. Yeah, that actually that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Just
Stalk your homeowners association members. Is
I've
that
never
Karen
lived-
down the street yelling at you?
Oh my God, I've never lived in one before.
I grew up
until
in one,
until
and my
I moved to
parents.
California. And I never lived in one before. And then when we moved here, and I started getting these things like, your grass is looking a little bit browner than usual. Like these letters.
You not stand people like that.
Yeah, we live in the fucking desert. What do you think is going to grow here as far as grass? And they're like, well, we appreciate it if you could just keep your water running 24/7. A $300 water bill at the end of the month, just so we can keep up the aesthetics.
Where we moved back into this.
Park. Like that was another one. We don't like the way you park. Your house needs to be painted. I was just like, where do you get these balls? I swear. Wait.
Well, Grandpa's place where we just moved back into is that kind of community. It's a homeowners association, but you don't have to be part of it. But all the
Okay.
neighbors spy on each other, and like
Oh, of course.
I'm part of the Facebook group, and it's just old people bitching about this person drove fast down my
Yeah.
road. This person, these kids are out making noise and seem to be having too much fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the stupidest shit. It drives me nuts. But we're back living. We actually moved away because of a neighbor harassing us 15 years ago, and now we're back
Oh,
in that
wow.
same community again. So
Oh, no.
I actually got arrested or something.
Recently?
No, 2008
Oh.
when we lived in this neighborhood at
I
one
was
point.
like, whoa. I was like, you're totally burying the lead. Remember when I asked you what you did this week?
No,
Like,
no, it's been a decent weekend. No arrests this weekend. No, the only time in my life I ever got in trouble, I've never been a bad guy. What
so,
did you play? You played something else too, didn't you?
I played this game called Shady Part of Me, which I never heard of until you brought it up. So it's basically a puzzle platformer. It tells like this emotional story about this young girl, and then her shadow comes to life, and you actually have to control together. You have to like both, like it's not a co-op. It's just where one person flips between the shadow on the wall and the real person, you. And together you try to escape like this surreal dreamlike world. The game explores like themes of like fear and trauma and self-acceptance, and the two characters that solve the puzzles require cooperation, otherwise like between light and dark. And there are some parts where you got to turn on the light so she can walk past, because if she touches the light she burns up. That means the shadow. And it shifts back and forth, and you're like, oh, okay, it's like a co-op, but you control both players.
Yeah, I played a
And
little bit of it for the first. It was one of my first streams ever. I put it on just for like an hour because I was doing a Sunday Indies type thing with my streaming, and I
right.
played about an hour of it. And don't you use the shadow to like as your shield to be able to
Sometimes, yeah.
pass puzzles and stuff or
Yeah,
solve
yeah. So
puzzles?
there'll be like a box that creates a shadow, and the shadow, you'll switch to her, and she'll use it as like a stepping stool on the wall.
It was a pretty brilliant
Um,
mechanic. I remember it was really
yeah,
cool.
it
It
was
just
very cool.
it was definitely making my brain work too hard. I remember I was getting frustrated because like, I looked up a couple of things, but yeah, it was a cool mechanic. I did like it, and I really wanted to get a physical copy of it because it's kind of a rare physical. It's only on Switch.
Oh,
I believe it only has a Switch release. I'm not sure,
okay.
but I remember I was looking into that for the
Yeah,
collector's
it's
reason.
very deep. It's very like, the girl, it's a very poetic, and talks about, the girl's inner struggles with her personal growth. It's very artistic visuals. It has a very poetic narration, and the symbolism in its environments create like a reflective experience that encourages players to face their fears, which I thought was very uplifting. But
Yeah, I heard it
I
has a good
think
message and it's a deeper
a
story.
lot of times, though, I always say, oh, well, this will be a good one for the kids to play, like my daughters, about, self acceptance and everything else that they deal with. But I feel like a lot of it goes over their head. They wouldn't really
Well, I
pick
feel
up
like
on
that
it.
about a lot of indie games because those are the ones I always call the passion project, where the creator is usually putting their own personal self story into things. And I guarantee you, whoever made Shady Part of Me is telling a self story about acceptance and about themselves because
Right, right.
that's how they created the media. But if you're not into those type of games and you're not looking for that second hidden meaning, like you'd say that to me too. You're like, how do you find or figure all these things out about, like, where are you finding these thoughts about the game that you play? Like you've said that I'm coming up with things you wouldn't expect to think about, and
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
interpretations. That's the word I'm looking for. Interpretations of
I
the
mean,
game.
because you start to play it, and then after a while, like Little Nightmares 1. Like, I just played it as a game the first time through. And then I was like, well, who is this geisha girl? And then I started reading, like, all these deep lore and these deep stories, and you find one that you can attach to, and then you kind of make it your own. So, like, Little Nightmares was the, what was it, the geisha girl, right? The geisha girl with the...
And that's one I just kind of played through. I never when you guys were talking about it when we did the Little Nightmares 3 coverage, like you guys were teaching me things about it I didn't never caught, which is really cool. It makes me want to go play it again. But yeah, I'm always looking for a deeper meaning in games, or a life lesson, or some kind of something expressive from the artist creating the game that they're trying to tell me. That's why they made the game, was to tell us a story. So I always like that.
Right, that was her.
Yeah, I remember you played the sound effect when we were talking about it.
It was creepy. It was creepy because it was like, who is this woman? Oh, sorry. Let me fade this out. Sorry. It was like, who is this woman that was like very, like, just, she was a geisha girl, but she cared about where you were at all times and what you were doing. And I read this one like lore online about how she's your mom, and she can't stand the fact that you're prettier than her.
Oh,
And so this is the whole symbolism behind the mirrors. It's why you would flash your mirror in front of her to kind of kill her.
I do
at the
remember
end.
killing her with the mirror, breaking her with the
Yeah.
mirror, or whatever that.
And,
Yeah, makes me want to go replay those games. Those are awesome.
It was a very deep. Like, I can't say that was what it was about, but that was one of the lores that I read, or one of the when people come up with different, what do you call, like different ways to explain it.
Yeah. That's why I said interpretation.
Interpretation. There you go. Sorry, interpretation.
And that's what I always like trying to find. Yeah, because you hear things from different people because we all interpret art differently. So it's like, what did you get out of it? What did I? That's why we have these conversations. What did you get out of it? What did I get out of it? Yeah. I had one more game that I played. I just wanted to say because I'm a racing addict. I guess it could be a bonus game. Sure. These are all bonus games.
Yeah.
No, I'm a racing addict, and I haven't had a racer to play for a little while because I burnt myself out on Crew 2 and Motorfest.
Yeah, you were saying.
And I burnt myself out on Forza Horizon 5. I'm talking like, I think between those 3 games, I have like 300 something hours of racing. I love racing. It's an ADHD thing for me. That input of like driving hella fast and like any flinch will send you into the wall like that. For some reason, that focuses and calms my brain. So I tried Grid Legends. And I didn't know anything about the series really, and oh my god, it's such a good racer. Like just mechanically for just the racing itself, it's amazing. Like they make 130 miles per hour feel like 250, and like and I play in bumper view, so it is intense coming at me like fast. And it was super fun driving. But what was really cool about it is that it's got story modes, and it has 6 seasons of stories, and they are all full motion video, fully acted, fully voiced with real actors, and they're taking themselves way too freaking seriously. And I just thought it was great. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. It's talking about these racing and pit crews, all competing with each other through the Grid Legends series, and it's like super dramatic acting and stuff like that. So I was having a fun time with it. So anybody that loves racing and you haven't tried Grid like I hadn't, even though I played tons of racing, try it.
All right.
News time.
Cool.
And now it's time for gaming news.
Thanks, Craig. I only have one thing in the news to talk about.
I'd be shocked if you had 2. Yeah. I
have one thing, and it was, I don't know, did you see the link that I sent you? Twitch celebrates International Women's Day with the game Overcooked.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
I'm guessing they took that wrong?
no.
That's kind of funny.
Josh, it reminds me of the time I bought a vacuum for my wife for her birthday.
Hey, that's how you learn not to do things. That's a learning lesson in life right there.
Or when I bought her a PlayStation 5 and I asked her to borrow it.
Oh,
so
well, I mean,
this goes along those lines.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of like, wow, I didn't know that existed anymore, or that people needed to be told that was offensive. I just
right.
As a social worker, things surprise you. People surprise you. You know.
Somebody wasn't a little, and needs some sensitivity training or something like that. You know, not putting women in the kitchen for Women's Month. You know.
I mean, would you like? Is there a place in this world where people go, oh, I really didn't even think about it. Like, is that excusable in this day and age?
I guess. I mean, but as soon as you said that, I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. Because so, I mean, it hit me right away as like putting women in the kitchen. So obviously that other people thought the same thing. I've heard that game. I've always wanted to try it with somebody because I hear you'll like hate each other over it. Like it'll break up marriages and shit. Like it's a co-op. It's a co-op. You have to work together or you freaking lose and you guys yell at each other all the time type of game. So yeah. I've heard. But
that's the only thing I had to do. Is I thought it was more humor than it was anything else. Because I was just kind of
I don't have a ton of stuff, but I'll just run down the 3-4 things I have. Something cool, this could be exciting for people, is Radical Entertainment, which is the creators of the game Hit and Run, Simpsons Hit and Run, which is a classic, much beloved open world Simpsons game. They all of a sudden reappeared and they came back online as new Radical games, and they posted some clips of Hit and Run on their page, which had a bunch of people going, could they bring a remaster back of Simpsons Hit and Run? Because that is one of the most demanded like remasters.
That was a great game.
That is, you can't play it anywhere except the PS2, as far as I understand. So that would be fantastic. That would be fun. Marathon release. This is I mentioned real quickly about High Guard. It was one of those live service online shooter, competitive shooters, free to plays that was going to come out and had been worked on for like 6-7 years. It came out to almost 1 million players and then it lost 95%. And guess what? It's being shut down on March 13th, like less than a month and a half after it came out. Okay.
Wow.
Tens of
Why?
millions of dollars went into the game because nobody's playing it. Well, the new live service shooter game that came out from the makers of Halo and Destiny is Marathon. It has been advertised and hyped up forever. PlayStation even released a special edition controller for it, like they did for Concord, which was shut down. And Marathon came out to a whopping 87,000 players on Steam playing.
Wow.
So
it was in demand.
The free weekend that did almost twice that for the free weekend for letting people play before the game even came out.
I don't even know what Marathon is.
It's an online competitive shooter. Like it's just another.
Like
It's just
Fortnite
another.
or like Apex
Just
or any of
it's
those?
Halo and Destiny. People made it, so you can picture the
Okay.
combination of those
All
two
right.
things. It's a space shooter type of thing.
No story.
So people are wanting these games to fail because companies just don't get it. You need to stop looking for that billion-dollar hit and create the single player experiences people want. Because Resident Evil Requiem came out and sold 5 million copies in a couple of days.
In
And
5 days.
in the most selling Resident Evil in the history of the 30 years. Like
Yeah.
it's just this is what people flip out over. People are shitting all over live service games because we're tired of it. We're tired of it. At least I
Well,
am.
yeah, because they get boring after a while. Like it was almost like as if like Call of Duty and those kind of games, those live service games, they're kind of like, okay, they're grandfathered in. So we'll just put
They're
up with it.
constantly a top seller every single year. It's not like nobody's playing them. It's just
Right.
it's
But
just
they
it
want
doesn't
more of the
die.
money from other avenues.
Every
They-
company wants to hit the billion-dollar live service game.
Right.
And that was what happened with Blue Point Studios when PlayStation shut it down. They had Blue Point Studios working on a God of War live service game instead of anything else they could have been working on with the PlayStation universe. Anything I mentioned, Resistance and Ratchet and Clank and all kinds of other things they could have done. They had them working on a God of War live service game. So it just needs to stop. I hope I don't want Marathon. I don't want things to fail. I don't want people to lose jobs. I don't want tens of millions of dollars going to waste. I want companies to learn from their failures and to start just give people more what they want. And
Well,
stop.
don't worry. Xbox has announced Helix.
Oh Jesus. Yeah. I don't really care. I don't even want to talk about it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be some PC slash Xbox
Yeah, it's
console
gonna be a Steam
based.
machine.
Gonna be $1,000, $1,200, $800. Who knows? It just doesn't. Nothing excites me about extra Xbox anymore. It's just whatever. So good for them.
You think they're losing a fan base?
What do you think? They've been losing the fan base forever, but all the X boys on X kind of
X-Boys?
freaked out. I have many names for them. They kind of got all excited with the whole new console thing coming. So it is
Yeah.
guaranteed. They said it wasn't going to happen. People were saying it was all shutting down. Xbox is getting closed down.
Yeah, but it is.
This girl Asha took over, and she's going
Yeah,
to destroy everything. But there is a new console on the horizon. They still are going to go through with that. But it's shifting towards a Windows-based type thing.
Right.
So it's becoming more of a computer than just a
Yeah, it's going to be
console.
it's going to be a machine that you could use. That's also, I don't know. I just, like, has there ever been a release where you were like, this is going to be so stupid, and it turned out to be a bomb? Like everybody wanted it. Like it turned out to be the best thing.
Well,
could
I've thought
tell
that
you-
about a lot of things. I thought the Switch was stupid as hell when I first saw it.
I thought that of every Apple product since 1998.
Yet you still buy
Like,
them.
I did,
still think
but
about
like,
Apple
'cause,
with my
like
iPhone.
every time they came out with something, it was always like when they came out with the iPod, I was like, yeah, but we got MP3 players. We don't need, and then somebody bought it for me, like as a gift. And I was like, this thing is freaking amazing.
Apple's
Like,
like
you know-
Nintendo. They're like the third-rate tech of the industry that still sells. It's irritating.
It's just like, or when the iPhone came out, I was like, do we need another phone?
I will say I
It's
love
like,
my iPhone. I don't want to use anything else. I have an Android tablet. And I can't even use the damn thing. It drives me nuts.
those things, they piss me off.
But building on your Xbox announcement, PlayStation couldn't be outdone because the next day they went ahead and announced that they're going back to first-party exclusivity, that they're not going to release their single-player games on Steam anymore because they're just not selling, and they're not going to waste the money. They're going to keep
Or
exclusive.
that
So
Microsoft owns them.
there's gonna be a reason to have the PS5 for whatever games they release that are exclusive, and people still bitching about PlayStation has no games or whatever, but I don't care. The reason
Yeah.
why, as an example, is Spider-Man 2, which there's a recent port to PC.
Right.
It sold 16 million copies on PS5. It was still selling 100 to 200,000 copies a month since its
Yeah,
release
yeah,
over
yeah.
a year and a half ago. It sold a total of 700,000 total on Steam. 700,000. And so to port their big first-party licensed game over to Steam, it's just not worth it anymore. Stellar Blade did well because there's a bunch of freaking deviants out there that modded it to hell so they could have all their perversions and fantasies taken care of. So Stellar Blade did well on Steam, but all their other stuff they release on Steam doesn't really do well. So they're going back to exclusivity. And then the new releases I have, last thing is we had Resident Evil. We're playing that for our next show. It's going to be bomb. Did you already start?
Yes.
Are you liking it?
Love it.
Okay. We'll talk about it next time.
Well, no, I mean, I have this love-hate relationship with horror games. And
I hear it's so terrifying. My friend Ed, he said he quit playing because it's scaring the shit out of him.
It's
he's gone back to it.
There's more jump scares in the first chapter.
I'm going to record the whole thing for YouTube. And you guys, if you want to see me play Bendy, also, I recorded all of Bendy in the Dark Revival, and I'm just talking and bullshit and doing whatever. It's all on YouTube. Nobody's watching them, but I'm still doing it anyway because I got to create content somehow because I can't stream still. So if you guys want to do that, the new releases, Resident Evil, yes, cool. Tales of Berseria came out the exact same day Resident Evil Requiem did. It's a remaster of a Tales
Horrible
game.
timing.
That was so stupid. But Tales of Berseria, that wasn't even a really popular one of the Tales series anyway, so who cares? House of the Dead 2 is releasing, and that's all I really have. So
yeah, no, I didn't really look forward. I just saw Resident Evil 9, and I was like, all right, let's go.
Well, nobody's going to release anything around that huge release. So, and
it's
the
great.
The next thing coming. Next thing coming also, I don't know if he's going to play it or what, but I am beyond freaking hyped for Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly. So I don't know if we're going to do that for the show, but that's another horror one.
Fatal Frame. I don't remember.
I don't think you've probably ever played the series. It was big on PS2, and then there's only been a couple of remastered releases that are Japanese purchased only or digital that I've played. But yeah, so 2 was the best. You don't need to know anything about the series. You can go into each one kind of independently. But 2 it honestly scared the crap out of me back in the day. It could disappoint me now that they've remade it, but it was creepy. It is full on Japanese cult, like child murder, sacrifice, like crazy twisted witches, demons, ghosts, all kinds of stuff. It was cool.
Okay. All right.
But it's been 20 years since I played it, so who knows if the remake will be that cool. All right, doing Resident Evil next time.
All right, sounds good. You can reach us at Dad's Game Review, as always, on the Twix. Where can he reach you, Josh?
Josh Games on X. I'm not really doing much with Twitch or TikTok or anything like that. I'm on Facebook, though, if you want to. Facebook, I talk more about stuff in life and games and stuff. If you ever want to find me on Facebook, it's Josh Games. And Dad's Game Review is on Facebook now, too.
Yes.
All right.
So if you're over the age of 60, go on to Facebook and talk to Josh because he's alone.
Right.
All right, guys.
All right. Bye.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Thanks so much.